This is the main DDtrac login page. This is where you'll enter your user ID and password to log in to the DDtrac system. If you're taking data on a mobile device, you're going to want to click the DDtrac mobile logo in the upper left hand corner of the screen, and that will take you to a login page that will log you into a user interface designed specifically for data collection on mobile devices. This is the main DDtrac homepage. As you can see, you'll see the list of your students you're authorized to work with on the left-hand side, your groups or courses that you are assigned to on the right, and below on the right you'll see a page that allows you to take offline data entry for individual students. You also can enter observations, conduct a search, access the user guide, or see contact information for both your local administrator and for developing Mind software on the home page. If you select a student, you'll be taken to the past comments for that student, which will show you how other people interacted with the students the last few times they worked with them. If you're going to want to take data for the student, you'll go to the Data Entry tab. This allows you to take instructional data, behavior data, social data, enter notes and milestones for the data, or take standard assessment data for the student. Instructional data entry is the most common type of data taken for the student. This is my main instructional data entry page. You can see a list of all of the objectives the student is working on. These are the individual objectives, not the group objectives. You can click on the little magnifying glass and you can view past data that has been entered for the student for each objective. And if you have edit permission, you can click the delete past data icon and you'll be taken to a form that will allow you to delete individual data points if some data was taken incorrectly. You'll only see the delete past data icon if you have edit permission for the student. You can see that 2 of my objectives are checked off. That means that I've already taken data on those objectives today. If I was going to go to, let's say, commenting IC, that'll take me to a page that allows me to take data for the commenting IC objective. These are all of the targets that the student is commenting on as part of this objective, and you'll see that the unmastered targets, the targets that the students having difficulty with, are grouped at the top of the screen, and the mastered targets are grouped at the bottom of the screen. You can also enter a comment indicating how the data collection session worked when you take data. Behavior data allows you to document individual behavior episodes, including start time, triggers, whether or not there were any injuries. You can take data on more than one type of behavior in the behavior data collection screen. Social data allows you to take data related to social observations, example, referencing and coordinating with others in shared activities. Notes and milestones allow you to take things like observation data. In this case, I would have entered an observation about how the student worked with me on this one work day. This would be similar to data that would be taken in a back and forth book. The Goals tabs allows you to see, edit, and create goals for the student. Goals are similar to IEP goals, and you can take instructional goals, create social goals, behavior goals, and you have the ability to create plans or programs from these goals like you would see in an IEP type document. So if I go create new instructional goal and objective, I'm taken to a wizard that would allow me to create a new goal. I could either create the goal using a wizard in edit view, or I could import the goal from a sample goals and objectives. And I have a choice of a number of different types of goals and objectives that I import sample goals from. The next tab you see for an individual student is the Reports tab. This will allow you to view and interpret the data you've taken in DDtrac. We have a number of reports and charts that you can view in DDtrac. For example, Master Targets report will show all of the master targets that you've taken data for the student. In this case, the master target shows all of the goals, when the target was introduced, when it was mastered, the number of days it took to master the target, the number of days since it's been mastered, the number of trials it took to master, how many times you've practiced it since it was mastered. So it gives you a lot of information about the rate at which students are mastering targets. You also have the unmastered target, which show details on targets the students has not yet mastered. Under charts, you can compare targets. You can use the progress percent. You can show target mastery. Again, this would be for a particular objective, the rate at which students was mastering targets. So in this case, I wanted to do articulation. I can generate my chart. And this is the rate at which the student was mastering articulation targets. You can email any report or chart to another authorized user in DDtrac. The Info tab allows you to see info about the individual student, their personal information, contact placement information, emergency contact information. Your other option under the main menu is for groups or courses. For instance, if I go to Classroom 1, I can go to the data entry page for Classroom 1 and I can enter gradebook data if I've assigned gradebook assignments to the entire class. I can take progress data if I have progress monitoring probes defined for the entire class. For example, I could do the letter relationship probe and I can enter a score. Let's say Brandon got 8 out of 10. Freddie got 7 out of 10, and Jimmy got 6 out of 10, and I can just update the scores and the data will be taken for the student. And this then shows how the students done on all the students in the entire class have done on all those probes. You can set up goals and objectives for a class, and again, this would be goals that you would be setting for an entire class as opposed to individual IEP goals for an individual student. And you can create reports for your class to show both reports and charts so you can get a broad overview of how your entire class is doing on their shared goals and objectives and on their behavior problems. If you're an administrator, you can actually click the Administrator Site tab and you can add students, groups, users, and sites. You can manage standards and assessments, and you can import and export data from DDtrac under the Administrator Site tab. So that's a basic overview of the way DDtrac works and the different sections you'll find under DDtrac.